Parasha was it's called Acharei Mot, or after the death, which is appropriate because we just celebrated and observed Passover, and remembering when the angel of death passed over the children of Israel, and then Yeshua becoming the sacrifice for us as well. And in our portion that we read this morning in the Torah, we saw God plainly laying out his commands, right? Told him what not to engage in. And then he said, obey my rulings and laws and live accordingly, right? Pretty simple. You know what he wants us to do. Well, we all know the history, of the children of Israel. They kind of, were there. Sometimes they obeyed it, and other times they didn't. Same thing we could look at, right? And even after Yeshua, followers of Yeshua, we don't exactly have the cleanest history either. Kind of like what I was talking about, what people were trying to do in the name, right? In the name of Jesus. So in our Torah portion, we see obviously this is a time where God had to rebuke the children of Israel, and he says that you treat my holy things with contempt, you profane my Shabbats. Not exactly things we want to hear from him. But and then we see down here in the apostolic writings where the writer of Hebrews is talking about through the blood of the Messiah, Yeshua offered himself to God, and then we see the redemptive work of God there, right? And then at the end of that, we see God brings it back full circle. He says, so that through the blood and the sacrifice of Yeshua, so that we can serve the living God, right? God gave us his commands, and then he told us what he wants us to do, but because of our pride, because of our disobedience, we fall short of that, right? So again, you can see a pattern through it. We even look in our own lives, and we see a pattern in ourselves, right? I mess up a bunch. My wife would say a lot more than that, but I'm trying to. But so we see that pattern there. So what I want to talk about here is after the death, but not just after Yeshua's death. What about our own, right? Let me explain this. Yeshua said in Luke 9:23 and 24, he said, if anyone wants to come after me, let him say no to himself, take up his execution stake daily, and keep following me. For whoever tries to save his own life will destroy it, but whoever destroys his life on my account will save it. And then Rabbi Shaor, Apostle Paul, in Galatians 2:20 says, when the Messiah was executed on the stake as a criminal, I was too, so that my proud ego no longer lives, but the Messiah lives in me. In the life I now live in my body, I live by the same trusting faithfulness that the Son of God had, who loved me and gave himself up for me. It is one of our greatest responsibilities one of our greatest responsibilities comes is how we respond after the death, right? So we accept Yeshua in the sacrifice, and we trust in him, right? We know it's not through our own doing, so we follow him. So we accept that, and then we say, okay, I can get with what Yeshua is saying here to put myself aside, but what do we really do with that? How are we looking after our death, right? Every day we're supposed to be getting up and looking at our lives and observing ourselves. And in Psalm, it says, God, reveal things in me that you don't like, right? It's a prayer we don't really like to say a lot, but it is something that is required of us. Otherwise, we just fall back into this pattern, and we have a hard time serving the living God the way we should, right? So, just my encouragement to you, let's just not remember with the matzah, right? Remember what that represents, where we get rid of all the extra leavening in our lives, right? And we just have, right there whatever God wants. The goal isn't to see how much more leavening you can put on until next Passover. We want to remember that and live that day in and day out. So, let's follow the example, reminder of Passover and Yeshua every day. Amen.